Merry Christmas, everybody! Happy One Wheel Wednesday. Excited to be with you in my nunchucks, created from XR Rails. Yep, I won these in some of the races that we've done around here. We are a racing crew. We like to race. We like to go as fast as we can. We're talking about what should the One Wheel brand, the company change in Race for the Rail 2025 style. Plus, we're giving away heaps of things for Chameleon Rails. It's going to be a good one. Let's introduce some of our cast of characters here. We got Holly over here. Big
hey,
cup
everybody.
of Joe.
You know it.
Always, forever. This is my wife, 23 years, wearing Chameleon Rails hoodie.
Nothing but the best.
Now, that hoodie is a different material than most hoodies, so you should know that. It's
waffle.
It's a waffle.
So cozy. Kevin's in the chat. Thanks, Kevin.
Thanks for hooking up our viewers with Chameleon Rails stuff. Some of my favorite stuff's in there. We'll get to that a little later. We got Lily.
Hello.
Wearing the chillest.
Yes.
Does that mean
cozy? This
week, are you the chillest?
Yes.
Look, did it come with ties?
No.
See? One of the things I liked about that is none of that. Like, look,
it's very
I got one of One Wheel zip hoodies. I was just saying, I think this is like one of two zip hoodies I do own.
I like zip hoodies.
And it's comfortable. It has all the makings of a hoodie with the pouch here, but then I forget that I have a zipper in the way, and so my hands...
I kept looking at it like, why does it sparkle? Why?
Okay.
It's your nunchucks.
Oh, it's my nunchucks.
You now have a festive...
Yeah, sparkly. Well, how else do you...
Sweatshirt.
I mean, I hang them up most of the time just to remind Lily...
Around your neck.
That I beat her in a Christmas race. It was a
was.
Christmas race.
Oh, okay.
We knew this was going to be the trophy, and I throttled you, Kristen, and Joey. Ho, 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 Merry Christmas. This one was 1 year, and then the other, I don't know if we got a shot where you can see it. Maybe on the wide shot we got it over there.
There's some back there.
My sword. I was going to get that, but it's actually screwed into the wall because my children would use it as a genuine weapon.
Yeah.
But this is sweet. Nunchucks, golden. Why wouldn't I play for those? To have weapons out of rails?
We should have made you like your own Christmas tree in here and use those as like the ornaments.
That would be one big Christmas tree. Okay. So we got a lot to talk about.
You need to speak to your white Viking helmet.
Oh, I do? Well, one, we're winning. The Vikings
Hello.
are. This is not a Viking podcast, nor is it a football podcast, but Vikings are doing all right. And we were ice skating the other day. We were hanging out with a lot of our friends, ice skating in the Twin Cities here in Minnesota. Actually, we went there, and we were buying other people's skates for them.
Like a pay it forward.
Yeah.
It's great.
Just, you saw somebody
Buy
go,
yours,
hey,
buy someone else.
I'm going to buy your skate. And they were like, what are you doing? It was just trying to spread that Christmas cheer, that vibey kind of stuff for everybody. It was awesome. Lil, you doing all right over there trying to figure some things out?
Yeah, my thing is like broken.
Yeah, but that's not going to help you to hear if it's right or not, because it would be right, our audio. She's trying to make sure we're sounding good for you guys online.
I think they would have said it by now. But no, I was just trying to fix my headphones. Oh, that's all.
Yeah, okay. Oh, yeah, it sounds great. Turned it up. There's our check. Some weeks we don't get the audio right. Sometimes it's a glitch. This week anyways, we were ice skating, and these were hidden throughout the city, and we were fortunate to get it. We really felt like it was somebody that one of our children was stealing from, and we
well, they were just they were like put in sight. Like, it wasn't like they were really hidden. They were just kind of like sitting in a random area. And so we double-checked that they were up for grabs.
Yeah, and it was.
People behind the counter.
You scanned the QR code, and you got a chance to get the Monday Night Football tickets.
Which we won. I mean, we didn't win the tickets, but we won the game. The Vikings won the game.
Well done. I was like, we did? Why didn't we go? Okay, again, we're stoked about that. That's what we got. A purple spinning helmet, and then we got the white one, new addition to the fleet of helmets. Could you imagine, Lily, if as an adult your head was that size, but your body was the size it is?
Oh, man, it's
I
like
could
the
not
opposite
imagine.
of a
That one's
bobblehead.
even smaller than that one.
But think about that. Like, that would be the smallest head ever.
Yeah, it's small.
Wonder what that. What would? I mean, I wonder if you.
It'll fit like a teddy bear.
That's it. Wouldn't even an infant. It might not. Anyways, we hope
like
everybody's set up for a very, very Merry Christmas. Okay. Speaking of Christmas and what we did ice skating, I was sent to this by now a dear friend of ours, but it came about being friends because of the podcast and the videos we drop on our YouTube channel. Jacob and crew, way north in Minnesota. He sent me this as, hey, I think this would be a good Would You Ride That? We do a segment here on the show. We're going to get right to it before we get to the conversation. Would you ride that? This is the chainsaw brand steel. Well, they got crazy. And just see. Would you ride this, ladies? Just roll this. Everybody in the chat, let us know. Would you ride this?
What? Oh, that's hilarious.
Is it? Is it hilarious? I think it's like dangerous. Like
Oh, wow.
What do you think?
I know Jacob would ride it.
Jacob would totally ride that.
I'm not riding it.
I would not.
No way.
No, I'm not.
I don't feel like that guy has enough gear on that.
They're messing up the ice, aren't they?
Oh, sure. You just resurface it, melt it down, and be fine. But, like, if you fell...
And those
Why is,
chainsaws are still going?
Yeah, like, I get it. You have the throttle. I don't know.
That's like cut artery.
I would need to know more.
That screams cut arteries all over
I
the
would
place.
need more information before I just slapped those on my feet and went road. I would need to know that really, when I let go of that throttle, the chain stops moving. Because, man, I don't know. Like, the guy doesn't even look that stable, but great. I got to applaud Steel.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Love the
But
creativity.
I'm not doing
I'm not riding that, though.
Several say 0 chance I'm doing that.
Yeah, but
Sean
it
Paul.
makes for a great viral video for Steel. I mean, are there any other chainsaws out there but Steel? Let's be honest. No. Steel's the way to go. Now, Jacob would disagree. He's a different brand of those, but Steel's the way to go. Okay. First, let's get to a giveaway right away.
Yeah,
Lil's going to prepackage. We got lots
today.
to give away. We're smashing 12 days of Christmas all into one day, hopefully. This is how we're going to do it. So if you're early into the chat
It's a good
today,
day to be here.
you are going to hop in to the chat, and you got to be the first one to answer it. First one to answer it, you then will slide into our DM, my DM, and give us your address, and we'll ship it to you, okay? So this is what we got. Lily, please tell.
So from Chameleon Rails, we have this thing will keep you out of the sun for sure, hat and bolt keeper box.
Okay, that was one of our must-have things when we were doing.
It is. I could use more of those. Those things are awesome. Especially if you're a one-wheel person that changes and you got screws and all kinds of stuff.
It comes with a couple of tire caps and one of those things that you can press to release air.
Can you give us a demo of that hat, please?
Sure.
Yeah, this hat's sweet.
You'll actually look really cute in it. Yep.
Yeah, the hat. You got the right vibes.
I feel like the crocodile guy.
I think just like
cute.
all you need to do is keep the hat on. We're gonna set it up here for a future thumbnail.
That's
take
cute.
it, take the can, and just move the microphone. Move the microphone. Get the can and act like you're sipping down on the can.
Oh yeah.
Boom!
There you go.
Right there, great
Nice.
thumbnail for future right there. Okay, everybody. There's what you're playing for. We're going to give you the AI pictures of Christmas songs, okay? So you're going to see the AI version, like we just put the Christmas song in there, like last week we did Silent Night, and it automates and generates this image. And then you, as the viewer, have to decide what's the Christmas song. We learned a new song last week, which was the Happy Hippo or something. Never have I ever heard that.
I want.
Yeah, something about hippo. It was weird. Jacob thought, how in the world with 8 children we've never heard this song?
I want a hippopotamus
I
for
don't know.
Christmas.
All right, here's your image. Gotta be fast hands. Decipher what is this? What Christmas? No, I don't know these. Lily put it all together.
First one in the chat, right?
Yeah, in the chat. It's a megaphone guy on a mountaintop. See, shout it from the rooftop. No, go tell it on the mountains. Go tell it on the mountains.
Hopefully someone said it before you.
Oh,
Are you
bad.
supposed to?
I just got excited.
Here I was, like the legit.
I got excited. I did. I knew it. I've never got one, and I got one.
And I held it down. Chill out.
Chill out.
Like I was chill.
You did a great job.
I didn't answer because I didn't think I was supposed
to. Found you on that.
Let's see if anyone
gets it.
puts it in.
4. Okay, and we don't know.
I don't have anyone yet.
That's because it just got up into the chat. Okay, everybody.
And you
ran
it out.
I won it?
Yeah.
Why? Did somebody get it after me?
I mean, Smokey BJJ said it, but after you said it.
That's all right. We'll give it to him. Merry Christmas to you. Ho, ho, ho.
Smokey,
all right, what is the answer, though? Are we sure? Is it go tell it on the mountain, everybody? Yeah, look at that.
Go tell it on the mountain.
Yeah, the ladies are going to sing them all for you today.
Over the hills and everywhere.
Okay, let's get to the conversation.
Sean Paul says, that's a song. Well, yes, it is. AI did not make up that song.
So in order to claim your prize, you have to DM Scott on Instagram at Scot Mendenhall and make sure you put like Smokey BJJ, put your YouTube username in the message.
And your real name.
In your real name and your address, and we'll get it to you.
We can't send it
to
you.
But you have to say you're Smokey BJJ.
Yeah.
And everyone else who wins from here, that's how you win it.
That's how you
That's
win.
how you do it. All right. Oh, actually, in news, this is late to the news cycle, but Kill Guards, we've been involved with them really from their very first Kill Guards they did. They are famously known for making the suspension system where it is very smooth ride. And we got the very first set. We demoed it. We rode it. It was about this time of year. I don't know, 4 years ago maybe. And it looks like something Batman would be riding, so it was awesome. But we just talked about the bulkiness and things of that nature. They have streamlined. This is their prototype they released on their Instagram channel. One of our statements was, it's got to get smaller. And look, they are answering this. I would be interested in trying that. The profile of the shocks are now almost the line of the tire, gets out of your way. And then it ultimately, there are springs in those, the plastic housing that is your shock system, which gives you a smoother ride. So that'd be pretty sweet. And then when you see the cover on it, it's even better. So Kilgard, way to continue to produce and upgrade what you started with. I like seeing that stuff. So great job. Okay. Let's get to the conversation at hand. We have a long title this week for us, but what changes should Onewheel make to Race for the Rail in 2025? And this is off of the heels of a big post they posted yesterday on their Instagram story. This is the post they put up. And so we're just bringing it to a conversation. We're going to read along in the chat today as we have this conversation, looking for new ideas for Race for the Rail venues, bike parks, private property, ski mountains you own. They would love that.
Own.
DM us. Okay, so they're looking for, obviously, they're looking.
Private property?
Well, private, I'm assuming. But that's how.
What's
I'm
private?
kind of surprised they had a spelling error.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, that's not normal.
I'm not surprised. It's social media.
But that's like kind of a big spelling error.
Oh my goodness, look at you trolling.
No, I'm just curious.
I'd never troll anybody on spelling
Privet
errors.
Drive is from Harry Potter.
Maybe that's what they meant.
Probably not.
Maybe it's the secret.
No, it's probably a mistake.
It's just, I mean, we're all humans. I mean,
For sure. I
we're sending
have
out-
grace. I'm just
we're
surprised.
sending out a Christmas card that we've never done, but we're sending it out to thousands of people. And hey, it's got a big old wrong word in there.
Just
Unfortunate.
a grammar.
Yeah.
Would you say it's a grammar?
Yeah, it's a problem.
Yeah, that's a grammar.
All right, so here's my thought. I was thinking
I
about
don't
this.
know
in
what privet. If is privet a real word?
I think it would be sweet to, like, if you could. Here's what I think is interesting in Race for the Rail, is that it's mixed in with Joes. All right, so you have pros and Joes, and so you have dirt surfers, which is primo, one of the greatest races. You need to get to there. They put on a great race. It's a racer's race, a lot of miles on your board. It's so much fun. Okay, Eureka Springs in May. Great event. Okay, but there's so many Joes running around there, and then you need that. I think that you need that part of the racing circuit, and then I also think it'd be cool to have where it's just a pro event, and you bring it down to, all right, at this time of year, we're going to bring the top 10 ranked men and women, if there's enough for top 10 women, like the amount, it can be varied, and you take them to some of these private, smaller trail systems that would allow for ultimate filming. It's private to who wins until the videos are released like the next weekend. So that everybody, are you all right over there?
Yes.
Yeah,
I'm
are
sorry.
you okay?
What you doing?
Something got it. Just a tripod. It just.
It just got real loud.
I know,
Are you angry?
No,
You don't like this idea? Just speak with your mouth.
I like this idea.
I like this idea.
How did we get to the top 10? Did you already say that?
No, I don't. I just would be a ranking system because they're already ranking them, right? Like
From the season.
from the season. So they're already ranking these pros.
And then they take them to different, but that's hard to witness then.
Well, that's why I'm saying, like I'm picturing.
If it's at a smaller event place, you'd be able optimal
Right, so-
camera work.
Well, but what it does is it creates these incentives for these pros to, I want to be ranked by this time, or there's a cutoff kind of deal. I'm out. Like similar to how surfing does this. You get the top 30, but by a certain time, if you haven't scored enough points, they pare it down to maybe 20. I don't know the pairing in surfing, but you're paring it down throughout the season to get to the big surf comp at the end of the surfing season. I think, and again, obviously when I say, like, I can think about our trail system. We can't open it to the general public. It's not big enough to house, like, dirt surfers is doing hundreds of people. But if you brought 20 pros on here and you film it, it is small enough to film the whole thing. And it's not just, it's a bit of a skills thing. It's kind of packed in. The venue gets to pick that it's not just a straight head-to-head. It is a little bit of the technical stuff instead of saving that for the main race. Because I do think...
Oh, yeah. Not all races have that stuff.
Right, and
Some are building more into their races, but not...
I can have sympathy for what happened at Race for the Rail this year. Obviously, what happened when you had day one racing on Race for the Rail, and it was this technical style, and you are now eliminating people on the day before races and stuff. It's like, well, I think Austin Silva was going to hands down win is my take on it anyways. But there's still a wondering if Luke Austin was there, what would that race look like? Would Austin, well done on Austin, just getting his body fit, knowing his board, the whole thing. I mean, when he's finishing his races, he was almost putting hands in pockets.
Yeah.
And just cruising.
Because he
dominated. But if you had... some of those others that are really good contenders that got taken out on technical things, what if those are reserved midway through? That you bring them to venues like pieces? Here, yeah. And you're
So then Race for the Rails, you're saying
it's straight just
speed.
racing.
Just speed.
You've earned all the points, you passed. Now let's find out who is the fastest, and that's that.
Oh, so you're not necessarily, you're just doing like time trial in a sense. Is that what you mean? Like
right.
You're doing you're racing on your own.
Yes.
For the fastest.
Right. Because then
what type of terrain?
Well, I think it's...
Because no matter what, there's going to be technical...
Oh, no, I think in the race, you still got to make it... It can't just be straight downhill. It's got to have berms and switchbacks and rock gardens that are inside the actual race.
But don't you think you can ask just about every racer, for the most part, like, when they have the competition, you're going in a group of 4... There's something different about that style of racing than it is just a straight shot. When whether you do a dual slalom, there's more adrenaline to it, whatever. There's something about that.
I don't think you take away the head-for-head. I like the head-to-head. But you have to do heats to do that, which I think's great. I like the bracket system that Onewheel does. I'm really saying if you save the technical things, and that's part of the scoring, that every venue isn't just a straight head-to-head or enduro. It's got these other versatile things that you're learning. Hey, is the best of the best actually arriving there, or is it just you just gotta be fast? If it's just about being fast, then let's put people on an open street
and let them.
And just go fast, right? Because I think when you get into these trails, yes, it is about who can go the fastest over the train, but it's also who can ride technically. And we saw that we brought I would love to be part of Race for the Rail committee or whatever, but I'm not. But we brought him to a big old rock garden, which was so much fun to watch while I was there. Remember that? That was awesome.
How they figure out how to navigate that.
But it's eliminating... You're just there. You've made it to the main event. And I think any sport that does that, you make it to the main event and then you get cut out of the actual real final. That always feels a little weird. CrossFit has done that a couple times, right?
Yeah, that's what Nico's saying. He said the qualifier was heart-wrenching. It'd be one thing if they were flown out, but traveling all that way after racing season or after racing all season and not being in the main event is rough.
Yeah, because it's on your own dime. And I don't think that should change.
Well, that's how CrossFit is, especially when they do cuts.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing.
But I think the sport, here's where I think it's tough. You want a great event for spectators, but at this event for Race for the Rail, well, how many spectators do you think were there?
A couple hundred, maybe.
So, and then how many, I don't know the numbers.
A percentage of that.
But you just aren't getting the turnout for spectators.
Well,
so you either have got to go forget that there are no spectators allowed, and we're just going to film this thing, and we're going to release it as a filming.
Yeah, but didn't they kind of talk about that this year? Of that's what But it's there's nothing like being at the main event.
Oh, it was awesome. But it's still not spectator friendly because I can't see the whole race.
You're only seeing the end. Yeah,
I really wish. And again, please, ladies, keep reading the chat and kind of chiming in because I know it's hard to have this conversation.
Right.
And not bring in theirs. I really think it'd be cool to take it to, I picture Minneapolis. You could shut down the People's Bridge. What else is that bridge called? I call it People's Bridge.
Stone Arch?
Stone Arch Bridge. but shut that down and make that a one-wheel race where it's just a loop, and then spectators fill the bridge, and you can film it easily, and it's just loops. Kind of like.
I think people want terrain.
You want what?
I think people want terrain.
Well,
people want trail.
Someone was just.
Oh, I'm saying make the terrain though. I'm saying bring in the dirt.
Oh,
bring in the berms, just like they do. Motocross does this at times. They'll bring in, for spectators, they bring in the dirt. It's like monster trucks do that indoors, right?
Like the U.S. Bank
right,
Stadium.
like what if you did it?
That would be cool if it was in a stadium.
What if you go get a small stadium and do it?
Yeah, I think that is a brilliant idea. Someone suggested like finding like a go-kart track, and making the obstacles through that. I think if you look into getting into a small stadium, you already have the availability of, they hold events there all the time.
Yeah.
It would cost more to bring in obstacles, dirt, whatever.
I don't think it'd be as fun for the racers, but it would be awesome.
You don't think I think you got to make it challenging.
Going around in circles, though.
But this is, so here,
even if it's challenging.
But think about this. Think of all the people we've met, I'm going to go Eureka Springs just for example. Even when we went over to the other place, what's the other place that's great to ride in Arkansas? We were over with Nick and Rachel. Bentonville. What parks are doing to create these really awesome trails, you'd have to be able to do that in a quick turnaround, but it would be doable to bring in these things.
I think long term you go, oh yeah, U.S. Bank Stadium, that's the Viking Stadium or any
that's enormous
football team, right? Too big. You got to go to a small community college, ask to use their football stadium that is not. You'd also probably have to move the time of year the race is going to happen because football season, that's no go. But you're going to come in and use their stadium, move dirt in. These venues are known for doing these things. And now all of a sudden you have a way to sell tickets, easy way to capture the whole thing. And you can say, hey, come, this is going to be a destination. And now all of a sudden you have your heats. All right, these are our finalists. They have competed at the highest level. They survived Eureka Springs in the Shell Rock of Passion of the Christ, Passion Place, sorry. They survived it. And so
we have a lot of input in the chat. So why don't we do another giveaway and then read
hit the chat. Great call, Lil. Okay, what are we giving away this time, Lil?
All right, so we have all this will come in the backpack. This is a big one. Backpack filled with Chameleon Rails swag and a frisbee.
Ooh, I love this hat.
Beanie.
Are you going to try on the beanie?
Oh, man, Kevin, we were going through all this stuff. That hat is so cute.
And tire sealant.
Boom. Dang, that is sweet. That bag is awesome, too. Okay. She's posing for it. That is going to the winner that can tell us what Christmas song is this. Brought to you by AI. We just put in the name of a song, and this is what it produced with images.
Person to put it in the chat.
First person, I can't do it. All right, you got a Christmas list. You. Wow. That's a toughie.
Oh my gosh, it's so easy.
It is? Yeah. Well, see, if I keep talking out loud, then I'm going to give it away.
First person to put it wins all those items.
Well, we got to be patient. It's not yet hit them, so we're way ahead of them.
Read people's thoughts in the chat.
What is so I see Christmas decorations. What's that like on the right top? Like looks like a wooden thing.
Yeah, that's a little bit weird.
By the house? What is that?
Yeah, well, it's AI for you.
Okay.
Probably like a weird
We got
AI.
Candles. I don't see cookies.
Sean Paul wins it.
What is it?
Well, he says all I want is you for Christmas, but you got it right. All I want for Christmas is you.
Oh, I'd have never gotten that one. Well done. Wow. I didn't. Thank you for singing the song.
Sean Paul, DM Scott with your name and address.
Look, bro, you could fit an extra kilt in that thing, no problem. Be all right. If you want to, think about that. We saw him wearing a black one, but does he have the traditional? You got to have the traditional red and a little bit of green in there. You're built for Christmas.
Should we just do another one right away because we had a lot of people engaged in that one.
Okay, Lily wants to hook this. Okay, you don't know it. This is a mystery what you're going to get. She'll show you after you get it right. All right, here we go. The third giveaway of the 12 Days of Christmas here at Scott Mendenhall and Friends podcast, brought to you by Chameleon Rails. Thank you, Kevin. You're a good man. Here is your AI image presented to you.
No, wait, don't say it out loud.
After putting in the name of the song, here we go. We have a Christmas tree with trains snowing outside. We have a little Christmas tree on the windowsill.
You cannot read into it that much.
You can't. But so there's a star on top. There is the smallest and weirdest fireplace I've ever seen. It's not even a fireplace. It's like a candle place. Stockings are hung on the left and right.
What's in the train?
Oh, Christmas tree.
Did somebody get that? Or
I don't know if that's what it is. Well, Historic said that. Someone else said Timmons had it before. Timmons. I don't know what that is. Rocking around the Christmas tree, the float life.
Oh, that's got to be it because it is rocks.
It's rocks. That's what I said. Look at what's inside. Rocking around.
Yeah, there you go.
The Christmas
So who
tree.
got it? Float life?
Float life. High float life.
They were the first one to say rocking around. Oh, yeah, the
is
rocks.
that you?
All right, you win.
We'd love to hear Jeff's thoughts or any of that. Here's what you're winning.
This hat.
Oh, yeah. I love those hats.
Sticker pack.
Yeah.
Bolt keeper box. And a shirt.
Yep. Going to Float Life.
That color's cool.
Got to rock it. Got to rock it for them.
We can go back to reading the thoughts
hat,
in the chat.
what do they call those? I'm trying to blank on the trapper hat.
Hats.
I love those hats.
Trapper hats.
I love
If you're just joining in order to win your prize, you need to DM Scott and Instagram and leave your YouTube handle and your real name and your address.
Boom. And we'll mail it right to you. Merry Christmas from us, from Kevin, to you. Chameleon Rails. Okay, so we're on to the conversation of Race for the Rails. What should it look like? We're suggesting a venue change of moving it to where spectators can go to a small school, turning around a stadium. And I'm saying bring in dirt and make elevation in there, just like if you ever seen monster trucks. Legend, will you Google really quick indoor monster trucks and get an image and put it in there for us so we can maybe get people that've never seen this before?
It's really like anytime you're going to rent out any type of stadium, whether it's concert, whatever, they're bringing in what they want for their setup. So that's what you'd have to be doing.
We've gone to the X Games a handful of times when it was in LA. Went out there, saw it, and here in the Minneapolis area at US Bank Stadium, and they did motocross indoors. They brought BMX indoors, and it was something. I mean, the stadium was jamming because of so many spectators being able to watch it, what typically would be hard to watch because it's usually out in the vicinity. Now, I get it. Here's the problem. We're going to ask all these pros to race down hills and stuff. Maybe this is just part of the circuit.
Now,
that's what I'm suggesting.
Okay.
Is maybe it's not the finished event, but it's part of it where I just want this. I want this part of the sport to have more spectators. I want people to know.
This was a lot of chat, or a lot in the chat, that spectators is what's going to grow the sport.
Right.
Like, you got to have people watching it, but it would have to be something of. Are you thinking when you are thinking like in a stadium or like, where maybe a small college is or something like whatever, it's more accessible to people?
Yeah.
Because that's the other part, is getting to some of the places are in the middle of nowhere. And so it's like, how do you even get a flight? And then you have to drive 6 hours somewhere,
and then there's not a place to stay in those where the races are. You got to right now be really committed to the sport. I mean, Nico, that guy drives and sleeps in his car.
Yeah.
And then you're asking one of the better one-wheel riders who had just spent 2 days sleeping in his car and driving for 3 days to be at his best.
Game. Yeah.
Right? And then he did that to Windman, and then he's injured. And I'm not saying it's because he slept in his car, but come on. We've got to be able to figure this out a little bit more, where the racers are in more of a better condition when they arrive because the venues are more accessible. How is it easy to get there? How's it easy to get your one wheel there? It's not just normal equipment for the game day.
Right.
Like, so you can't fly. That's some of the issues. Like, you got a bunch of people. The Silvas are, they're retrofitting a van now to be able to continue to do this at a high level and be fit and be ready to race. So I'm not saying I got it all figured out. I know One Wheel's trying to figure this stuff out as well. I think it'd be really cool to,
Christy Miller says lower elevation.
Lower elevation, yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, because you do. I mean, even that said, unless you live it at the elevation, your last race or the race for the money is at high elevations, which is kind of nice in one aspect. It's all downhill. And I don't, my goodness, One Wheel has a lot on their shoulders because whatever they decide, there's always going to be somebody on the other side saying that's the dumbest thing I've ever seen you do.
Okay, new question on this.
Is this from you or from somebody in the chat?
From me. Oh. But what if, would any of the well-known weekend races that we have now be fit for a race for the rails? dirt surfers, anything like that be fit for? Is it you know the trails too well, or did that make it better? Just curious. Would any of those locations
I
be
think
someone threw Windman out earlier? Like,
I think you got to decide. Again, we're having this conversation. We're not telling Onewheel they need to do this. This is just our opinions to help them get to somewhere if they watch it and read the chat. But the Onewheel Racing League's got to decide. Do we want unknowable things in this, and is that part of the things we're challenging of our racers? They don't need to know what it is until moments before they get one day to practice. Or are we trying to say, no, they should be able to train and know this trail inside and out so we get to see what a pro does? Because here's where I kind of come from. You're a volleyball player, soccer player, basketball player, football player. You know, even if you're away, the court's going to be the same size, hoops the same height, field goals are the same distance, right? The whole thing's the same. It's not on the game day. All right, surprise for you. You made it to the Super Bowl. Now we've made it all uphill.
But at the same time, you think of something where this might line up more along the surfing. Even if you've been to the surfing, the highest, greatest surfing spots, it's always going to be different because of weather. You know what I mean? So you have to be able to...
But I think if you're already outside, that's nature playing the part.
Yeah.
That is, hey, part of this race is nature has its play in it, and whatever you're given. It's like in my Ironman racing, I would show up to the same event year after year. It was a good race. In some years, I'd be really fast by an hour faster. In some years, it's like, why? And it was like, well, the weather was perfect. Is what I needed. Sometimes it was too hot or it was too cold and I just didn't respond right to it. But everyone's playing in the same elements. So I just think even like the Tour of France, this is a bicycle race that's going across France. They know the course already. They know they can go ride each daily course to learn how to make those hairpin turns, how to descend, and how to climb as a team, all of those things. And so you're finding out who's done the most prep in it. So I just think as a sport, you got to decide, is that what we're looking for? And I think last year, I was thinking about this the other day when I was splitting wood. Last year, it was like no hooks and hooks. Well, that's out. We don't have to worry about that. We were asking, okay, what if it's not a one wheel? What if it's not running future motion in its vest? That seems to kind of disappeared. You're always going to have people carrying that. But I think this year you're going to find out, okay, well, let's design the sport with those questions out and go, if this thing's going to take off, you need people watching. And you got to start building that because the sport will continue to go. But you got X Games. I remember watching X Games when it first came out, like back in the 90s. And they were literally riding shovels down a mountain and plowing into hay bales. Now, there were also other sports, but that's where it started and where it is today. Very, very different. Legend, do we have a picture of that, like a venue where you can turn it? Here is it a monster trucks, Ledge? Yeah. Here you go. This is actually a U.S. Bank. And so you look at the inside, they've transformed it into dirt on the ground. Now, with obviously jumps in the middle of stuff, but now if you made it out of dirt, everything dirt, and you had rock gardens and you had some height.
It's kind of like, not that it would only be a pump track, but like the pump track at Oak City Shredfest.
Yeah.
Is like that in a sense where you'd be going around and around. So I wonder what the athletes would think of that.
Yeah, I got that. And it's not, obviously, we're not in the mountains anymore. I get it.
Well, no, and some of it naturally does take away from what is fun about one-wheeling is being out in the middle.
Yeah, I just think it's part of it.
I get it. Is it part of it that you can then create a spectator-friendly and drive some of it from there?
Right. Or you create, like dirt surfacing Eureka. If there's a spot where you can perch and watch a massive part of the race. If you have places to watch as a viewer, now all of a sudden, hey, I'm coming spectating that stage there because I can see everybody pass through here and it's packed. Again, we got to figure out the spectator thing. That's really where I'm at. And the spectators will help even solve some of the issues. Instead of and when I say solve some of the issues, the spectator is going to tell you by attendance what they like the most, and that's going to drive some of those things. And why Why is the NFL, besides a money grab, why is NFL all of a sudden doing like football games all of a sudden this coming week on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Wednesday, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why are they doing that? Because the spectators want it.
Yeah.
They're going to watch it.
Well, they're going to watch it. That's
now that makes money for the NFL, but spectators want to watch these games. So if we can figure out how more spectators come watch this thing, I think, again, it ultimately helps all the brands too, because people are like, oh, this is one, I want to get involved in this. Oh, Float Life, their team is winning right now. I want to wear Float Life stuff. I want to buy Float Life stuff. More teams will pop up because more spectators are coming. Well, how do you get there? So I think venues like that, venues like bringing out the top 5 men and women, and I genuinely say bring them out. They come out and they do these homegrown, private places that you can't get the multitudes to, and they get to do that, but that's part of being a pro, is these going to these private places that you got to be in the top 10 to get there in July, and if you're not there, you don't make it, and then you have your final race at the end of the season. I don't know.
Are we ready for another giveaway?
Yep. And then we're going to go to the chat. So, all right, what is it this time?
We've got a black beanie.
Cute.
A bright blue belt bag, which is really good. I have one of these. And the waffle hoodie Holly's wearing.
Yay.
It's
You'll
awesome.
Love it.
Yeah, this is
what size is said hoodie? XL. There you go. All right, here we go. We typed once again into AI Christmas songs, and it produced an image for you. Here's said image. What Christmas carol, Christmas song is this? There's bells in the middle. I know this one already. I want to say it so badly. I got it the minute I saw it, but you got bells. You have wreaths to the left and the right. It is a city, looks like a quaint little village. A little bit of snow.
Do you know what it is?
I do.
Yeah, nice.
I mean,
I feel like it's pretty simple.
I don't know if I'm right, but I have a pretty good
chat,
idea.
Anybody else? Come on. Where's the chat at?
The first one that comes up on my chat.
Just flashed up. There's no words written anywhere.
I don't think it's Jingle Bells.
Shane says Jingle Bells. I don't think and
Carol of the Bells? No.
Jason says Carol of the Bells.
No, I'm thinking it's the color of the bells that matters.
Garrett says Bingle Gels.
Bingle Gels. That is correct. Yes. Well done. But I'm thinking the color of the bell shimmer is telling you.
That's what I was thinking.
But that doesn't help anyone because they don't
Maybe
know.
Everyone's Bradley, Silver Bells.
Silver Bells.
Are we right?
Silver
Hello.
Bells.
Are we right?
That's all I know.
Yes.
Yeah, Silver Bells.
Bradley, DM Scott to claim your prize.
Okay, that was, I got it right away.
I did too.
And the only way I know how to sing that song is in that tone, like Silver Bells.
Why?
So it must be.
I've never heard it that.
It must be. That's where I grew up. It's like when I think of I'm dreaming of a white.
Sinatra singing it.
Must be because when I think of I'm dreaming of a white Christmas.
Oh, let's hear it.
I'm dreaming of a white. That's all I gotta
I've never
say.
heard you do that before. We have 2 more giveaways in the next 6 minutes.
6 minutes,
Holly
2 more giveaways. Boom,
Holly
ho, ho,
can do
ho.
one.
All right. So, Holly, what are some of them saying in the chat? Their thoughts in this? Because we really want one we'll be able to.
Let's
Flow
see.
Life, we'd love to hear your thoughts. You guys have a pretty stout team here and there. What helps them be able to compete at a higher level?
Someone asked, for us to be a legitimate sport, more businesses need to start factory teams, correct? Like,
yes.
We need more teams.
Yeah, but it's not lucrative for Ledge, if you could hit the switcher. It's not lucrative for those brands to do that quite yet. Like,
why?
Because there's no money in it. It's like there's not big prize purses along. So, like, right?
Well, I do think that in some way, not that in the Onewheel world it's gone backwards, but it was like everybody loves to get the gear. Like, you can easily get gear from all of these different awesome groups, but then to actually form a team has been a little bit like, you wanted a competitive team, like, but it has to be an incentive for those companies, those businesses, to put a team together, correct?
Yeah, and then they got to go and compete, and you got to have a little bit of friendly rivalry of, no, we're going to beat them. Because that will make people pick side. Because, again, Onewheel, I'm friends with
Here's another
all kinds of people. So I'm not looking to pin people against. Like, we made an image for I think it was Dirt Surfers. And it was Factory Team versus Float Life Team. And it wasn't to create drama, but I was like, man, it'd be fun if it was just like who you gonna root for.
Those are the only two that have set out and said teams. So it just kind of was fun.
And like I'll be honest, the day that Nico and Austin Silva lined up for the mass start, oh man, that was exciting for that. Because you knew who's gonna get the whole shot, because that's what it was about. Nico wanted it, Austin wanted it, and it was about who was going to get it. And then there was just this massive wreck. So glad no one got hurt. And so, but that's what you want. There were so many cameras at that spot where they're coming out to film it. It was so cool. Jeff was filming it. It was just so cool to see. And who knows what would have happened if the wreck didn't happen, who would have got the whole shot?
Okay, we got a little bit of chatter. Okay. So coming back with that, Christy Miller is saying instead of teams, she thinks individual sponsorships are better. Could be. And of course, this stirs Float Life a little bit. Love always hearing what you guys have to say. They say, why would a brand create a factory team if ORL won't let any other brands into the market? And if it's like asking Suzuki to sponsor a team in a race series that only allows Hondas. Mm-hmm.
No, there's some truth to that. Like, my answer to that is, then let's start another league. Like I know I'm using other sports for illustrations, but that's what we got, is how they did it. Before you had the NFL, you had the AFL, and you had the NFL, which was the American League and the National League, okay? And they did their own things. They had their own championships. They didn't compete against each other.
Too, right?
Baseball, American League, National League, they were all split, and then eventually they came together and said, okay, like baseball really, up until the 90s, they held to it that no national team played the American teams until the World Series. It was your own thing. They had slightly different rules in the American League than you do in the National League in baseball, and then they felt that more viewers would like to watch the American Leagues and National Leagues play throughout the season before the World Series. But what we really need, the answer to this, and this is going to be hard, is somebody's got to make another league. Now, how do you do that? Right? Like, that's where...
but that's I feel like that's what Jeff's saying can't happen.
But it can.
They're not letting them in.
But a whole nother league.
You can create your
own
don't
thing.
even race for the rail.
Yeah, but that means
but it's your own thing.
That means you got to come up with your own price purse. You got to come up with your own venue, your own.
And it has to be as big.
Well, to be effective,
right, for it to work.
I think that's like saying, like, then if someone comes along and says we're going to create a different but equal to race for the rails, then the groups that are already running races now could say, great, here is our winners of this group, VESC, however you split it up. You have Future Motion, and then you have... But at the end of that season, there still needs to be a prize purse for those that...
Yeah, you would have to, though... So let's say we made Scott Mendenhall and Friends Race League. And we had our races, and we had slightly different rules, because that's the beauty of it. You're making it from scratch, so you get your own slightly different rules. Wonderful. Onewheel would have to agree to bring their top four to be in a neutral space that both organizations, Scott Mendenhall and Friends and Onewheel, agree, yep, that's where we're going to find out who is the best of the best from both sides. And here are the rules we're going to play with. So going back to baseball, one of the big rules that were different in American League was the pinch hitter, which is what, Holly?
Pinch hitter subs in for whatever player they're accounted for.
Okay.
And can hit and bat.
That rule, I think that was slightly different. The other big one was you could be just a designated hitter, meaning once you got on first base, you don't have to run the bases. You can trade out. So then sometimes older players from the National, they can hit, but they can't run very well. They would go to an American team so they could play longer because, I just have to be able to hit it out of the park, and I don't have to really worry about running. Okay? When they made this merger to go, okay, now we're going to play National and American Leagues throughout the season, whoever was the home team, those were the rules we were going to play the sport by. Does that make sense? And so it was a deciding of that. It would have to be something like that. Onewheel, and if it's Scott Mendenhall and Friends made a racing league, meeting in the middle. These are the rules we're going to play for this big championship. That's what I'm suggesting. Now, who's got the cojones to do that? To go and start a league? I don't know.
I think it comes down to money too. Who can afford to do that?
Right. And is it advantageous in those things? So those are some of the hurdles that you're going to see. I think Onewheel shouldn't have to give up any rights. It's theirs. Until an organization comes in with, hey, I'm going to give you equal amount of money to do this. Let's talk about it. But they own it all. Why would they?
When we've talked about this before, when it comes to Race for the Rails, Future Motion gets to do what they want to do because they're the ones that fund it all. And it's like you can't, unless somebody wants to step up and start doing that, and it is what it is. They're funding it. They're supplying the boards. They're supplying all the stuff that the racers need that week of. So you can't really, someone else, Chrissy has a thought that a bunch of the aftermarket groups come together and
make a league. Yeah, that's fair. So, that's not a bad idea. But again, it's trying to get, we have 8 kids, trying to get 8 kids to play under the same rules. And I think it's going to be real hard when you get all these different brands to come along because everybody wants a cut. And how do you portion that out? Again, those are conversations behind closed doors.
This might be a longer topic.
No, I think it is, but I think when you look, hey, Onewheel's asking what we should do, offering some of these things I think are 5 years down the road. I think some of these things we're talking about, hey, you could do immediately this year.
Well, I think it would be great to even have, why not see if you could start in like an indoor in the stadium type of a race or something and see if you can build for the spectators, and see if that helps create the revenue, creates the just the fun of being able to see the sport. I don't know, could change the face of it. Yeah. X Games had to change how they were doing it. Correct. They were just, in order to expand, they were just doing it here in these different places or whatever. And then when they got the idea, then they could do it more often. Yep. Indoors allows you to do it at any time of the year.
I do think the thing X Games has for it, as it's adopted into the sports, like snowboarding and skiing and all they're adopting in sports that already had these rules of what you could ride and can't ride. Well, we're so early in the stages of there's no other sport around there. Onewheel is making this. Whereas like a lot of times in this conversation, Burton gets thrown out with the snowboard brands. But Burton wasn't trying to make a race league necessarily. They were involved in it, but there were a lot of different leagues happening at the same time.
Right.
And so I think there's some of the differences in this. And so and maybe that's some of it is like, what do you do when Onewheel, who is the creator of the Onewheel, Future Motion, who's creator of the Onewheel, is creating a race. Some people are feeling that hard because it's like, well, you won't let a float wheel to ride in there or a Vesk. But I can understand that. Like, I'm not gonna. It's their race. That's where somebody's got to go make another race. So
I don't disagree with that.
And for those that are like, okay, so your kids aren't switching anymore. That is correct. They had to dupe. They've got a Christmas party they're going to. So this is the camera shot we got. So
as we wrap up today, we got a couple more giveaways though. And I do think this topic is going to need another day.
I think so.
And it would be fun to maybe get some of the. Maybe we talk to the Float Life. Maybe we talk to Craft and Ride. Maybe we talk to some of the big guys. And
okay, Float Life. What would it take for you to start your own league? What would it take? How do we help you creatively? Because I think that would be. And awesome.
If that has to be answered at another conversation, fine. But we would love to. We genuinely want to know.
How fun would, like, in my opinion, as a spectator, and I probably speak for a lot of people, to watch Float Life. And I get it. I'm not trying to make Float Life and Onewheel at odds and clash. That's not what I'm looking for.
No, that's not.
But I think it has such a compelling storyline that I don't know how Onewheel and Float Life don't go, this would be spectacular. It would be a lot like Sean Paul, right? No, sorry.
No, Sean Paul's in the chat.
I know.
I didn't know where you were
going.
Mike Tyson and Jake Paul.
Yeah, those two, right? There's got a great storyline. There was a lot of money to be had there and a lot of entertainment, right? I think this is something about float life and when we. Okay, here's what's gonna happen. Holly's gonna show you what you can. We got a sweet hat. One that's got community on it.
I'm trying to put it out there so you can see it. Hat.
Great.
Sweet hat. It's that mesh on the back. It's super nice. You get another belt bag. This one's black, very, very sleek. And the waffle hoodie, I wore mine today.
But this one's gray.
This one is like a charcoal. It's fantastic.
Yes, it's sharp.
All right, I believe this one is an extra.
I've never worn
this is a medium. This is a medium.
A waffle hoodie before.
It's super nice.
Yeah,
it's
just
super
got a different
cozy,
feel.
and they wash up nice. They're super great. So okay.
That is true. What I did notice about that, it doesn't fade. Like you wash it up, it's not changing colors. So Kevin, great job picking some great material.
It's great. Okay, I got to put the next slide up.
Okay, so Holly's gonna go. We're gonna play that game again. We simply went to AI. AI's taking over the world. Maybe AI should put a league together. I wonder what that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna write this down. When we come back from our winter break here in New Year, we're gonna ask AI what would a one-wheel racing league look like and see what it pops out. Here we go. This is your last song for. Here, we got one more. Holly says we got one more giveaway. All right, then here we go. This is an image created by AI when we said, "Give us a Christmas song." Put it up there. Put it on number 8. There it is. But then you have to... No, it didn't go. You have to hit the other one, the red. Where Holly doesn't know how to do the switching. This is colossal. Yes, let's try. There we go. All right, we have a reindeer.
This is a good one.
Running a marathon.
Who's going to get it? Who's going to get it? Who's going to get it?
We have... I mean, it's got to be obvious when it's Rudolph in the front. No, I mean because I'm going obvious.
I got it. I already knew it.
But then I can't. There's a marathon. Other reindeer are running with humans. That's weird. Santa Claus is running back there.
All right. It's in the chat.
And
the HTMSS. Run, Rudolph.
Oh.
Da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah, run. I don't know. Oh wait.
Not Rudolph Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Yeah. It's more, who sings that? Brian Setzer's band.
Yes.
They hit it. Okay, there you go. Run, Rudolph. And Holly, if you would please press the red button, number 5, we'll say. There it is. Oh, she got it, everybody. Wow.
You want to do this last one?
We'll do it here in a second. Anybody in the chat also throwing anything else out that...
Jeff from Float Life says that he doesn't have the time or the interest honestly, to chat, about that. What did he say? The product vendor is the best to commission a league. I don't think the product vendor is the best to commission.
I don't disagree with that.
I can get on board with that.
But that's not where we're at. So I think because it's not... I think if we were having the conversation like who should do it, then yeah, we throw all that out. But because it's already been done, it's like this is what we got. It's trying to ask... this might be a little bit... But it's like asking the parents that gave birth to a child, hey, we want you to give that back. Because Future Motion gave birth to the idea, and they've run with it for 10 years now. Hard for us to come and ask for it back, nor do I think they should. And so I think what has to happen is you create a board. If you created a board that we're not, and this is because I know so many of the race handlers.
Well, you think that board is outside Future Motion?
Outside of Future Motion, which it currently is, but also isn't running races.
Yeah.
That they are a part of the sport, and they have a committee that the board goes to that it talks to. It's like a players' association in sports. They are concerned about the players. They speak for players to the NFL, to baseball on behalf of players. And it's like, okay, you need to have 2 things. You need to have racer committees talking to those that are on the board of Race for the Rail.
Okay.
So you can get their perspective and what they need. And then you need to have a racer committee that speaks on behalf of racers. Because as the sport grows, you're going to get more racers, more opinions, and this is going to be too many opinions, and you can't possibly make them happy. So then you've got to have those racers be able to go to a committee. These are some of the biggest. This is too dangerous. When they're asking us to do in the racing committee, a racers players association can look and go, yeah, here's the standard of the events have to be at on behalf of the racers.
Well, I think that's a really good thought, because when you think of some of these, third party that are selling these accessories and things, they didn't really get into this to start a race league. They got into it to be like next to the racers to advance them, and so that makes sense that it would be like, no, we need to have like a outside perspective and not go to these companies that maybe they could help like sponsor things like that, but not necessarily form it themselves, because I think that's when it gets a little bit muddled and a little hard to follow, because it's the conflict of interest for everybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it changes a little bit. So I think the race league team I'm not going to say team, committee is a great idea.
Yeah, and again, I want to be very, very clear. These are just thoughts. I'm not angry if none of it happens. I'm not going to not show up if none of it happens. I don't really, it doesn't bother me. I'm not losing sleep. They're just thoughts. I especially when I know who's on the board already for racing. I love those people, and they're doing a great job. I think just some of my thoughts that, and again, I think if it's going to be in the racing league, and I think as Jeff says, he doesn't have time nor their interest to do it. Right. Rightfully so.
That's
I understand
maybe not what he got into it.
The
heart of it isn't
it's
there.
not what he wants.
Right. And that's
great.
Okay.
I love that. But maybe Onewheel doesn't want to go and fly to every event and go, does this meet a standard? And nor do they want to hire somebody to do that. Right. So if that's the case, then the sport is going to have a very low ceiling.
For sure. And that, I mean, it is what it is.
Right, which is fine.
Because in all reality, Future Motion could just make their own race, still call it Race for the Rails, and it could be where it's open. You just come, you pay your admission fee, you get in, you race.
Yeah.
And they just make it another one of the races. And these other race commit or race groups that have their own races don't have to then figure out how they get points for this and that.
Yeah.
I don't know that anybody wants that, but I'm just saying the reality of it is this year, Future Motion could just say, we're putting on Race for the Rails. Anybody can be a part of it, and you pay your ticket and
Didn't they say in a post, or maybe it was when we were talking to Bodie, he said that they're might allow walk-ons to Race for the Rails?
He was talking about like a wild card. Like you jump in, like you are there, you race, you beat a time trial, you have to do a certain... And you could potentially, and then you get into the first. It potentially sounded like it would be more days of racing. Like you would get there and you would have to compete and earn
I think
your
if that's the way you go, then don't have a season. Just have one big race and allow people to come. And you have brackets and you go through that, because I feel like it cheapens what you do through the season.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like if Race for the Rails just decide to open it up, like a Future Motion, that could be what their race is called. Just like Dirt Surfers calls it Dirt Surfers. If you open it up, then it just becomes another race. The points no longer matter. Unless there's going to be other people that step in to say points matter towards this.
Right.
But
if
that's all on Future Motion, they may not want that either.
If I can walk on the last day and potentially get in, and it's a wild card, I get a risk, fun storyline. Fun. Well, but if I'm a racer that traveled around and then get beat, like I get it. Yes,
but on my end of things, if I'm thinking as what it takes to get to these races and what to do, how to get into these races, and I only have to go to one and potentially give the kids a chance to do this, then as that on that side of it,
right?
Like,
I get
sweet.
it. I get the tension in it, but
You're right.
I think some of these conversation I think needs to. Principles need to be decided of these are non-negotiables. Hey, we are going to have a race system where you have to show up to 4 events and you have to score points. And those top scored points are going to come to Race for the Rail, and we're going to see who's the best of the best.
Well,
fastest.
It could be, they've always done it by slots. They've always done it by like the top. Last year was the top 13 or whatever.
Yeah, because of numbers is points.
Right. What if it was there's a lot of
right. So then, or you go is a 1 day or a 3 day event, and it's just an event now, and they're not holding a league Is that the route they're trying to go? Sorry, I claimed my
maybe.
Okay.
We have one more giveaway.
One more giveaway,
and we
everybody.
have a whole lot more to still talk about, so I think we need to revisit this.
Yeah, but we should pick it up in the new year, everybody. Okay, let's see it.
Here, I'm going to give this to you.
Oh, are you going to go
Will
run
you
the
show it off,
switcher?
and I'll go run the switcher.
Oh, yeah, we saw how good that was a second ago.
I got it now.
All right, Holly learning the switcher, everyone. Here we go. We got a keyed lock, so you can lock up your Onewheel or anything else you want to lock. It's pretty slick. Camera number 1 is what you're looking for on the red button there, Holly. Now she knows why I always say my children's names. This is the lock you got. We have one of my favorite, the key bolt thing. You have a sweet black. Oh, I kind of wanted to keep this, but black Chameleon Rails hoodie, sweet, and a book bag. It'll all be stuffed into your book bag. I don't even, just double checking. We're gonna all put it in there for you. It's gonna get shipped to you. We have our last picture today that we're going to give you from a Christmas song. Put in there. What is this song? Wow. It is, Holly is shouting on the other side of the studio. Very fitting. You have a snowman in the back.
Fitting. Who is it?
Corner.
Come on, guys. You should get this already.
You have a plant with a smile. Santa Claus on the right-hand side in the background, but Frosty is a little bit more in focus than Santa, but the plant thing is throwing me off. But it's like a holly bush. Holly. Oh, I might have got it. I got it right there. Okay, I might even helped all of you figure it out because that's a doozy of a one right there. And we're waiting for somebody to come into the
Yep, I don't
chat.
see him yet.
Okay, because this is a toughie. It's a toughie.
I have no idea.
Is that what you said?
Holly Jolly Cheer. Nope, that's
but
incorrect.
We're close.
Holly Jolly Christmas.
Yes, it's a Holly Jolly Christmas.
Have a Holly Jolly Christmas.
There you go. That one I got as I talked it all out. See how I had to talk it all out? But some people are so much faster than me. All right. Make sure you DM me. Give me your name from the channel, and we'll mail that out to you. Thank you for everybody playing along. Thank you for being a part of the journey this year as you wrap up your year and have a Merry Christmas. I hope you guys are all safe. We will be wrapping up our year of 366 days of riding our Onewheel.
Yeah, you did amazing.
Well, I'm not done yet. I'm getting a little more nervous as the days approach. It would suck to have gotten this close and missed one day.
Because you think you might forget?
Well, I almost forgot the other day because it's way busier.
We've been real
busy.
busy.
And it's dark. Like the sun is set right now.
Like I'm in my loungers like at 4:30.
Yeah, it feels like that around here. But the sun is set here.
Yeah.
It's getting dark. And so much of the riding now is done in the sub-zero temperatures and dark. And it's just not as fun. Like to go out and do night rides once in a while, awesomely fun. But right now, to do it every night, you're not going as fast. Sometimes there's frost out there. Now there's snow falling and all those things. And I love it all. It's just made it a little bit more cumbersome because in the summer, when it's really warm and you're riding at night occasionally, it's fun. It's a lot of fun. But now to go do this, it is suiting up. My go-to right now, top deal, and thank you to Float Life for making the Kevlar flannel. Love that thing. I wear it every day in one. I love that the pads are in. It's super warm. That's why I go to it. In those sub temperatures with my hoodie underneath it, it is very comfortable. Actually, I wore that ice skating the other night. I play hockey all the time on the lakes, but when we went ice skating, I wore it, and I was just standing there talking to some of my bros, and somebody came up behind me. They couldn't stop, and they took my legs out straight to my back. But you know, I had the Kevlar on. My elbows were fine. My shoulders were fine. It was awesome. Like, people were like, oh, how, what? And I was like, oh, I'm wearing a padded flannel. And they were like, they make those? So, well,
the Float Life does.
The Float, I don't. But I do rock it. Okay, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging with us. It has been a fabulous year. We'll do year in a review in January. We will not be here for 2 weeks because it is Christmas. You should be with your family. That's where we'll be. And then it is the New Year's Day, kicking off the year with your family and friends as well, hopefully. And so we'll be back the first, I guess it's the second Wednesday of the year 2025. Everybody can't wait to see what becomes of that. Can't wait to see all the things in the Onewheel community that will happen in 2025. Who knows what Race to the Rail will look like, where the events will be in the venues. I'm excited. I'm here for it, everybody. Have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. My wife is on the other side of the studio. She's saying it all to you as well. Thanks for making the year so much fun for us here at Scot, Mendenhall and Friends. Thanks for watching our videos, sharing our videos, liking, dropping comments, following us on Instagram. What a year it's been. So be safe, everybody, over the holidays. We'll see you on the other side. Bye now.